out the foliage that you normally see as the decorative print on the paper towel, and cut out each one individually, and then assembled it into this collage and incorporated aspects of glitter. Yeah, exactly. This was $1 million. Definitely a lot of time, and artists tend to use repetition to portray their message. This one I'll quote here. Kozo takes a functional product, like the bounty paper towel, in everyone's day life, and she wants you to investigate that and notice the fact that this is just a functional piece of paper towel, but has now created it into art, and such as the paper towel, and transformed it into something found in the natural environment. There we go. Let's continue. Different aspects of his natural landscape in Iceland, but the next piece is the one I want to go to, but I'll point out that this artist has several pieces around the ship, some of aquariums and different landscapes, as well as some imagery of the subway in Comedy Live. But the next piece is one of my favorites again, a photographer that is using an aspect of illusion. Maybe somebody can tell me what that might be.
Illusion of the drainage pipe?
Well, it was like my backyard when I put the pipes in for the drainage system. Worms?
So this looks a lot like sand.
Yeah.
Somebody tell me what it really is? It is.
Is it
Corn kernels. Corn kernels. So
What are the hoses?
the hoses, the artist likes different aspects of industrial mixed with natural. This isn't Pop Secret, but this artist took a trip to an industrial plant that does create popcorn, and had an opportunity to shoot different aspects of the plant. The industrial elements is something that he wants to capture here. Obviously this pipe, this snake coming out, which I believe is part of the vacuuming system that pulls the kernels into the factory. But people pass this all the time and say, what's with the pipe and the sand?
Yeah.
But really a lot of aspects of art want you to find the details amongst it, like the bounty paper towel. This piece obviously with the corn kernels. He also has done something that he's incorporated the edge of the image, which looks like the negative that he might have pulled, or sometimes they do something called a contact sheet, where they produce a sheet of all of the images and then choose one. But this artist traditionally uses this border to remind you that it is a photograph and that it's intentional, that he's captured this moment and wanted you to investigate. Let's continue. Sometimes they have a small plaque that explains the curating of that hallway specifically. Different levels have different ideas behind them, even though their concept is always about the wonder of our world. So I'm actually going to talk about the piece that's on the upper stairway there. It's an artist named Lisette Castillo. And she's a Hispanic artist who has set up a still life and captured the moment. A gentleman who asked me about the sand in a previous ship, coming by here now. This artist uses sand, but then incorporates aspects of glue to capture the maze amongst it. And she's done different cities in this format as well. This is a still life, but it's also a miniature. So this is done on a really small scale. But when the photographer shoots the imagery and it's blown up to this scale, we think that it's rather monumental. Obviously each one being of a different veins, but also incorporating the horizon behind it. The way she's done this is shot the foreground image and then incorporated the background image later, either by use of a computer. For example, like the program Photoshop, maybe some of us have all heard about when it refers to supermodels.
Yeah.
Photoshop is a tool used amongst a computer that utilizes different aspects of processes that an artist would normally use. For example, there's a paintbrush tool in Photoshop And there are some artists that use the paintbrush within this computer. Some people see the computer as cheating, but really when you're utilizing a tool, that's like saying the hammer is cheating. A rock would just suffice. But yeah, so she's incorporated different aspects of photography and the computer, but not made it relevant. She doesn't want you to know that it's a computer backdrop, but she utilizes it and created these small scale, large scale, monumental.
Life on Mars.
Yeah, it seems like it. Yeah. She's done there's a beautiful piece I could show you at the gallery of the area in Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, and of the gentleman on the mountain, the figure on the mountain.
Yeah.
But it's all done out of sand, which is really incredible. But let's continue to the next level. We'll stop briefly. This is an artist named Odalis. I always get the name wrong. Valdiviso. She's an artist from Venezuela, and she's incorporated a sense of humor here as well. The Chinese food takeout box, but with a small tree inside of it.
That's
and
broccoli.
in this, she's dealing with aspects of nature, also convenience and Americanism, even though it does have the Asian takeout box. A lot of us, when we think of Chinese takeout, this box isn't specific to that culture, but has been adapted for our culture in order to take this away with them. She's also used different aspects of graphical. As you see the lines that are incorporated on the sides and on the bottom, she has used these elements to show you the design amongst the box itself, whether it be the shadow that is cast on the ground or the different angles that are used on the side. So not only is it just a piece of photography with a sense of humor, but it also shows you different geometric aspects within it. Let's continue. Next level. There are two here that are really popular on the ship, and I hear this every day about either this photograph or the next one we'll see. This is an artist named Rebecca Norris Webb. And you might notice within this photograph that the giraffe is not enjoying the plant. The plant is amongst the environment that this giraffe is placed in the zoo. And the giraffe believes that the plant is there. And this is a moment that the artist just so happened to be at the zoo and taking photographs of the area there. And has caught this giraffe trying to eat the plant of the picture next to it. It is really sad, but when we look at the polar bear next, there's a sense of pride amongst these animals, and they do get fed every day. I got a good picture of this. So this polar bear is the most popular and famous piece of art on this ship. I've heard about this polar bear more than 100 times. And to let everyone know, this is actually taxidermy.
No. Darn.
I was going to
Unfortunate, I
say,
know.
he's so clean. How did
So
they get
clean, he's
How did
so
they get him to
beautiful.
pose on the white sheet
Exactly.
downstairs in the front of the ship?
Is it a photograph?
It is a photograph, and the artist doesn't do the taxidermy. This is an animal that she has found and then photographed. An artist named Jill Greenberg. But everyone does think it's very beautiful, and obviously the way that his coat is so perfect, and this little beard puff that happens there. I just had to point this out and let everyone know the kind of, yeah, I know. I should have left it alive,
He
I know.
was a fully trained polar bear standing by the sheet.
Right,
So I
yeah.
can photograph.
They're
So
not
we'll
white.
continue around, we'll take the elevator back. You're walking towards the carousel, that there are different stages of the horses being built. ICR, the parent company, came up with this concept. They wanted everyone to see the process that goes into creating a carousel horse. Some of us through childhood imagine that these things were just born, and you get the opportunity to see that carving and painting are amongst the processes in creating that carousel. That, of course, as everyone knows, is a very famous carousel because this is the first time this has ever been incorporated on a cruise ship.
Then you did one big one.
Exactly. We were also told that the company that created the carousel, that this was one of the smallest carousels they had ever created. Normally they've done it with more than 300 pieces oscillating up and down as it carries around the side, but this was one of the smallest that it had to create. There's our elevator. One thing I find rather interesting when you think of color theory and how different colors bring up different feelings, green is up and red is down.